I'm going to be demonstrating on how to make lefse. Lefse is a traditional Norwegian flatbread that's made with potatoes. Now let's get started. Okay, to 6 cups of potato flakes, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. We'll mix it in. And then to 2 cups of boiling water, we're going to add 1 stick of butter. And we're going to melt the butter into the hot water. Okay, then we'll let it return to a boil. And once that happens, you're going to add the potato flakes and salt to the boiling water and butter mixture. And then we're going to quickly stir it in. And once the potato flakes become incorporated with the water and boiling water, we're going to add 2 cups of milk. Now we basically have mashed potatoes. So we're just going to mix this up until it is all incorporated. Now we'll take it off the heat and continue to stir it until all the potato flakes have absorbed the milk. Then grab a minute and transfer this back into our bowl. Now we will refrigerate the mashed potatoes until they are completely cooled, and then we will add the flour and roll into balls. Now that the lefse dough has cooled in the refrigerator for a couple of hours, I'm going to start adding the flour. So I put some plastic wrap on top of the lefse dough so that it would not dry out, because then it would get crusty and not very good. So we're going to need 2 cups of flour, and I'm going to add 1 at a time because it takes a little bit of muscle to work it in, and it takes a little bit of time. So we're going to do this by hand, and we're just going to squeeze and mix it into this dough. Alright, now that I've mixed in all of the flour, I'm going to take some of the dough. Each ball should end up being a little bit larger than a golf ball. And it's kind of personal preference on how large you like each of your pieces of lefse. So you're just going to roll it into a ball and then place it on a plate. And you're going to continue to do this process until you've used all of the dough. After you roll all of the dough into balls, you're going to have a full plate full of these little lefse balls. And then you're going to cover them with some plastic wrap or cling wrap so they don't dry out. Then we're going to put them back in the refrigerator overnight so that they get really cold. And then in the morning, we will fry them up on the grill. Okay, so next morning, our lefse dough has fully cooled overnight, so now it's time to set up. So we have our rolling board and we have our rolling pin fitted with a sock, and that's going to keep the lefse nice and moist and soft and chewy. And then we have our flour, and that is the key to perfect lefse because you can never have too much flour. And you're going to need a stick for turning the lefse, a griddle, and some dish towels. That have been dampened with some water. And we're just going to spray that on. It doesn't have to be too wet. And the lefse, after it cooks on the grill, is going to go into these towels and rest until we have 4 pieces of lefse that we will package in this in this wax paper. So we're going to heat our lefse pan to about 450 to 500 degrees. You'll probably need to change it throughout the cooking process because it will cool and it will get hotter throughout time. So then we can start rolling out the lefse. So you're going to need flour on the board. And you're going to want to rub it in. And as I said before, you can never have too much flour because the lefse really likes to stick to just about everything. And we'll take out 1 ball of lefse dough. And we're also going to flour or pin. And then we're going to start rolling. Lefse dough doesn't have to roll out to a perfect circle. It may end up in an odd shape, but that is okay. That's how it's supposed to look. So you're going to want to roll this out very thin. I always roll it out until I can see the red lettering that's on my board. So basically, the dough is thin enough to be see-through. And if you get a hole in it, that's okay. So that's all rolled out. As you can see, it's not a perfect circle. And then we're going to take some flour and we're going to put it on our griddle. And once this flour starts to turn a light brown, then we know it's time for the lefse to go onto the grill for the first time. But before you put the lefse on, you're going to want to remove the flour because that's going to give it a burnt flour taste. Okay, now that the flour has turned to a light brown, we're going to remove it with a paper towel. Now this is very hot, so you want to be really careful. So when making lefse, it's easiest to have 3 people because there really are about 3 stations. 1 person will roll, 1 person will cook, and 1 person will package. But now that the lefse is all rolled out, you're going to slide your stick underneath the lefse and pull up. It should not stick if you added enough flour. And you're going to transfer it over to this griddle, and you're just going to unroll very gently. And now it only takes a minute or so to cook, and you're just going to want to check to see if there are brown spots starting to form on the other side. And sometimes if it's thin enough, you'll be able to see actually through the lefse and see those brown spots. Alright, now that the brown spots have started to form, you're just going to slide your stick underneath the piece of lefse again, and you're just going to slightly flip. And there you go. So now it's going to cook on the other side, and it will take less time to cook on the second side. Now it's personal preference on how dark you would like your lefse. I personally like it on the lighter side, however some of my family members like it on the darker, more crisp side. So it's up to your discretion to decide when and how long you cook. Okay, now that this piece is fully cooked, and you can see there's brown spots on both sides, you're going to walk over to your dish towels. You're going to pull 1 layer back. Now these are damp, and you're going to just unroll the lefse onto the dish towel, and you're going to cover it back up, and you're going to rub it a little bit, and you're going to kind of transfer some of that water into the lefse, and it's going to keep it nice and moist and soft, so that the edges don't dry out and get crackly. I now have my 4th piece of lefse cooking, and 4 pieces of lefse can fit in 1 wax paper package. So, I'll flip this one over, because I like them pretty light. And then we're going to start prepping. I have cut some pieces of wax paper to be about roughly this large. However, the lefse can fit comfortably. It's not quite done yet, but we can start folding our other pieces of lefse. So we're going to fold it in half, and then fold it in half again to form a triangle. And then we're going to have one of the points pointing in each direction. So we'll have 1 point this way. We'll point 1 in the next direction. And we'll make sure this is not burning. Oh, perfect. still want to give that one time to rest for a little bit. But we will fold this one, have the point a different direction. Give this one a good rub with the towel. And then we will fold this one and have it point in the last direction. And then I'm just going to fold up the ends. Fold up the other side. And then we'll flip it over and it'll wait there until we've cooked up all the rest of the lefse. Okay, now we're just going to continue the same process with the rest of our lefse. So more flour on the board, almost so that you can't even see the red lettering. More flour on the pin, just in case any dough likes to stick to this sock, because the dough likes to stick to itself. We'll take another ball of lefse, put it in the middle, and start from the middle and go out in each direction, and it doesn't have to be round or a perfect circle. Whatever it rolls out to be is what it is. We're going to roll it out nice and thin so that we can see through the dough. And if you get a hole in it, you can just pinch it back together and it'll be okay. So once that's all rolled out, we're going to take our stick. And again, we're going to go up through the center and lift up. Oh, but see this one? Stuck to our board, which is okay. It was just a little piece, so you can just disregard that and fold the rest of it onto the grill. Okay, so now again we have 3 more pieces of lefse sitting under our towel, so this is our 4th one, and that's going to make another package. So slide our stick up, transfer the dough onto the griddle, and we'll wait for this to cook on both sides. And then we're going to put it back in with our other pieces of lefse that have been resting, and then we're going to package them up just like before into our wax paper. Okay, now that this one is fully cooked, we're going to remove it from the grill. And we're going to add it to our other pieces of lefse that have been waiting, but we're going to move it over a little bit because it still needs to rest. But we will start packaging the other lefse. First, we'll give it a good pat down with the towel. So then, we will take our other pieces of lefse that have been resting, and we're going to fold it up 1 in half, and then fold it again to make a triangle. And we're going to set 1 point facing down, 1 point facing to one side, and then a point facing up. And then we'll give this fresh piece of lefse a fold. We'll have the corner or the point facing the opposite side. And then we're just going to fold it up, fold in the sides, fold in the corners, place it on top. Once you're done with making all the lefse and packaging it, you can just store it in a big Ziploc bag, and it'll keep it soft and moist until you're ready to eat it. And you can freeze it if you don't want to eat it all at once, or you can also refrigerate it for more immediate time of usage. And this recipe yields about 24 pieces of lefse, but depending on how big you make each of the dough balls, you may get more and you may get a little bit less. And my favorite way to eat lefse is with a little bit of butter, some sugar, and some lingonberries. So we'll just spread the lefse with a little bit of butter, and then I like mine really sweet, so I sprinkle some sugar on top, and then I spread it on top with a little bit of lingonberries. And this is going to give it a really tangy flavor. And then I roll it up. And delicious.